So following from our previous conversation about Chasyr and its culture, we're here today to discuss our first culture statement, which is empowering individuals. It's right there at the top of our culture constitution, and is the first statement that we focused on our culture meetings. So question to you is, why is empowering individuals so important to you? And why do you think it should be included right there at the top?
Well, I mean, you hear a lot of companies talk about our people are our biggest asset, but then they don't necessarily go around behaving that way. And we've all been working for companies before, or working in jobs where they keep telling you how much you matter to them. But then when it comes down to the crunch, they don't seem to actually back you up, or they don't help you in a way that. So what we were trying to do is make sure that, what we wanted to make sure that we put people in our, starting off with our own people, ultimately extending out to all our users, to have people at the forefront of what we're doing. And in order to do that, we needed to make sure that within our culture, where we designed the culture to reflect how our company would behave if it was a person. What kind of attitude would it have? How would it react and respond to things? How would it speak? How would it feel? And from that, we wanted to make sure that if we're going to make into reality the things that we feel we want to do, we need to really explore it properly. So that's why empowering individuals came right at the very top, because the whole company is going to be made up of people. They're all going to be individuals. They're going to be different people. I mean, yes, we share the common goal, and we share the common desires to try and help make the world a better place. And within Chasyr, we're trying to make peer-to-peer delivery by everyone. So ultimately, we're empowering communities and we're changing the world. But before any of that, we've got to make sure that we've got all our people in place, and they're happy, and they're developing, and they're becoming better versions of themselves.
Yeah, because if they become better versions of themselves, that makes our company become a better version of itself, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. That's it comes to the old adage that says you'd much prefer to develop people, even to the point where they grow beyond your business and they leave, rather than have underdeveloped people that end up staying in the company. Yeah. So we set out right from the very beginning. We wanted to make sure that anyone that joined Chasyr, we were focused on their personal development as a being, as a person, as well as what can you do for the company. And one of the first things that Tommy and Nav, who went around recruiting most people, it's amazingly, we've got I think upwards of about 45 members of professionals and experts and leaders, all within and expert developers and yourself and so on, all within our business. And we've all come here because we enjoy it and we love doing it. We're not here for the money. We're here for something else. So we wanted to make sure that within Chasyr, we put as much effort and interest in that something else that
Which
those
is
other
the individual.
people want. Exactly. Your own personal development, what things you would really love to be doing. And right at the very beginning, we were told that, right, you're coming into Chasyr, but it's not just what you can do for Chasyr, it's what Chasyr can do for you. I know that sounds really cliched, but it literally means if you're, for instance, like here, if you're interested in doing some media and some marketing, fine, go ahead and do it. And then we'll support you and help you do that. If that's what's going to help you grow and become a better person. Yeah, exactly.
It also goes back to the conversation we had before where we spoke about your work, and you described the fact that you help people kind of get out of almost like career crises where they sit at the job and they feel like they're stuck in it and they cannot get out and they just want to do something else completely different. And I think, focusing on each individual's development here at Chasyr, that kind of prevents that thing from happening, because we give people opportunity, we give people growth. So when they want to try their hand at something else in a different department, we don't stop them. We say, go ahead, try it, see how it works and see how you feel about it. So that personal development can be done within the company rather than having them go and seek it elsewhere.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, I couldn't put it better myself, because it really is. It is about that. It's like, I'm bored of doing accounts, say for instance.
Yeah.
Can't stand accounts anymore. I want to do something more related to people. Within Chasyr, you can just go and say, right, what else is going on at the moment? What's available? I'm interested in doing some, I don't know, I'm interested in doing some art, maybe. I want to try. I've been interested in digital art. I'm an accountant who's interested in some digital art, and for us to be a case, okay, come join the art department, or come in. Stay in. It's obviously still carry on doing the thing that you're good at right now, but in the meantime, come into the art department and join with some other people who do know what they're doing, so you can gain experience and
Yeah.
help that way. And therefore, you're absolutely right. People can find the development that they want within the company rather than end up thinking, you know what, if this is all they're going to allow me to do, if this is all they're going to give me, then that's it. I'm going to have to go look
I don't want to
for
be here. Yes.
somewhere else.
And
And
I
that's
think it's also the realization that, professionally a person is one person, but in their private life, they have different hobbies going on. You can be, as you said, an accountant, but in your spare time, you might indulge in some graphic design. And if you want to do that as part of your job and see whether you can prove yourself in that, then there shouldn't be anyone stopping you. Otherwise, it stunts your growth and you become an unhappy employee that basically leaves.
yeah. And that's not. It's hard enough to get people to connect with the vision and to connect with what you're trying to achieve as a business. I mean, some of the worst things that I've seen happen is when they have a quick turnover. So all the experience and all the knowledge and everything that just goes. So with here, we're thinking we'd rather make sure that every person is empowered to do the things that they love doing, things that they want to do. Obviously, they come in here bringing a certain expertise, but we're very open to helping them in any other ways. And in fact, I've already had some opportunities myself, which have been encouraged within Chasyr to spread my work through the connections I'm making here. Whereas often in a lot of work situations, they'll say, you're coming here, you're here to work for this company. Don't bring any of your outside stuff here. But
Yeah.
we're actually saying, no, bring all your outside stuff here, because we're willing to bet that some of your outside stuff is going to be really useful here, or we can help you with your outside stuff to help, using the network that we have inside of the company. Again, as you said, just to ensure that people are happier and they're constantly growing. They're becoming better and better.
Yeah, and that kind of links to the idea of offering equal opportunity and just offering opportunity to people in general. Here at Chasyr, we not only focus on people's personal development, but also giving them, as we said before, the opportunity to go and do something else and try their hand at something.
Yeah, and I mean, there's two things to that actually. There's two parts to that. So your first part you've got is the opportunity. They would say anybody can come along and do something. We've got people who are computer programmers who are currently playing with the graphic side of things. We've got people who are tech support who are joining us in the culture side of things. So that whole mixture. But the other key important ingredient to that as well, about being able to offer the equal opportunity to anyone that wants to do it, is also to come at it from a perspective of encouraging the courage to fail. So actually enabling the courage to fail, actually telling people, look, you're going to be new at this. You don't really know what's going on in here, but we get that you want to try this out. So you can come and try this out, but don't be afraid of making mistakes. You
Yeah, and
will
that's
make
so
mistakes.
important.
Yeah. And we usually make a mistake because we've reached the edge of our knowledge. If you never ever make a mistake doing what you're doing, that means you're keeping well within your capability.
And you're probably doing it, you're stunting your growth, you're doing it wrong.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, you're doing it absolutely right, but right in terms of that's all you know at the moment. If we want to empower individuals and we want to help individuals grow, we want people to become better and better than they were yesterday, then they've got to step outside of that knowledge, of that comfort area. And when you step outside, that's when you start making mistakes because you've gone beyond your current sphere of expertise, your current knowledge.
No, I think, failure and mistakes should be celebrated in that context.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be punished. Yeah. Because actually one of your employees decided to take initiative to go and do something else. And as an employer, as a person that hired that individual, you should care about them and you should care about their development. And you should just give them a hand and say, actually, maybe try it this way again. Yeah. Or, maybe you'll become better at it next time, because also failure is the first attempt in learning, which is such an important step. And I think so many times people fail and they just get a bit too scared and they're like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble after this and I don't want to try it anymore. They create a little wall in front of them.
Yeah, I've worked in big corporate companies before where even with the best of intentions, I mean, I've worked in ones that have been excellent in terms of personal development, but however, they still have a view on which way you should develop. They do ask you, what would you like to do? But if you're in a certain division, certain area, they expect you're going to stay within that. And here we're actually empowering the people to choose their own direction. But again, in doing so, they may choose the wrong one. They may make conflict. But we want to make sure that there's that space, that room to make the mistakes. Otherwise, if people feel that, okay, they're letting me do this, but if I mess it up, everyone's going to be really angry. My boss's boss is going to get really angry, and then I'm going to lose my job. And we're saying right on the outset, you know what? This is written, we've put it throughout our culture document, we mean it. We want to enable people to have courage to make mistakes. Now, obviously, we don't want people to be silly and foolish and make mistakes because of that reason, but we want them to have the courage to try something out, to think something through and have a go at something. And if it goes wrong, we'll back them up. We'll say, we know you were doing something new. We know you were doing something different. So therefore, it's expected that you wouldn't do it perfectly. And we're not going to have a go at you for trying, because it's only in people coming up with ideas and trying that we're going to end up having more innovation and more great new ideas that would have been stifled if people felt they weren't free and safe to speak up.
Yeah, and also I think, the enabling the courage to fail and giving people equal opportunity, that results in kind of almost like co-design, where people from different backgrounds and different industries come together. And let's say, I sit in marketing, but I can come into a culture call because the doors are always open and I can put my piece in. And actually, that might be a brilliant idea, or someone else will come into another department. Maybe, someone, as you said, is an accountant and they go into graphic design and we think, wow, this is a really cool piece you've done here. We want to see more of that. And without that opportunity and kind of the courage to fail that we push on people, we would never know that we have people in the team that are so capable of doing so much more than they are already.
Yeah.
And that's something beautiful about kind of the co-creation of the whole company and being open to everyone and an open conversation.
And when you have empowered individuals, that means they're free, that they feel safe, they're free to actually speak their mind and bring in other things that they have ideas of, rather than self-censor. Then we're going to get the best out of people, and also we're going to get the best ideas coming out of people. There's a story that goes, I don't know exactly when this was. It was maybe 80s or 90s, but because we don't have Cheetos in this country.
It's sad, isn't it?
Yeah, but the Cheetos. Oh, well, I think we can get it if we get it. Look in the foreign food aisle.
We can get it there. Aldi has Cheetos sometimes.
Do they? Okay, yeah, okay. So there's a story that goes that the hot Cheetos, the spicy Cheetos, which are probably one of the biggest sellers that they've got.
Yeah, the flaming hot ones.
That's the one. Apparently that started with with somebody who was the cleaner or the janitor, who was taking some of the Cheetos home and putting hot sauce on them. And then one day he brought it to the attention of the CEO. Says, how about we do this? What if we actually made them with hot sauce already on them? And because they had that openness at that time, the CEO said, okay, we'll try it. And they did. And it's become one of the best-selling products.
It's a cult classic at this point.
It's a what, sorry?
It's a cult classic.
Well, exactly. This point. Yeah, it is. And I think that, I don't know the details on this one, but I think the guy has gone on from being the janitor to actually, they celebrated his success and that gave him the boost. And now he's off doing other great things. It's not like.
Yeah, and if they weren't open to someone from whatever department, janitor or, accounting, finance, whatever, coming in and saying, actually, I have an idea. What do you think about that? If that opportunity wasn't there and it was stereotypical corporate office where you have to go to your boss, that boss goes to their boss, and it goes up the ladder, then it would have never happened, and we wouldn't have flaming hot Cheetos.
Yeah, and some of the best, brightest ideas die on their way through middle management, unfortunately. Where people are trying to build their own little empires, and they're trying to own their piece of the company world. But we're setting up right from the beginning. There are no empires. It doesn't work. We don't want to work in that way. We don't want to function in that way. So when we're talking about giving an equal opportunity to someone, so say you come up with a great new idea, which you do, by the way. I'm just saying, just using this as an example, not that you don't, right?
Oh no, I didn't take it personally. Don't you worry.
Say you come up with a great idea. Now, you can come up with the idea, and my first response to you will be, okay, Veronica, that's a brilliant idea. Where do you want to go with this? What do you need? What support do you need? Who do you need? Who do you need to come and do different things and bounce this off? And do you want to put together a small team to actually help you with that? Because it's your idea. You're going to know the most about it. Now, if somebody has an idea, then they think, you know what, I can't do it at all. I'll hand it over. That's fine. But in most cases, in companies where you've got your good idea suggestions box, you put your great idea suggestion in there, you get your £50 voucher because that's the one that gets picked out that month. And then somebody takes it to another department, they run with it, they do something with it. And before long, the initial idea,
different.
It's not the same idea anymore, because
No.
the originator, the person who had that light bulb and that spark, is not involved in doing it. But we want the person who had that spark to not just be involved in it, but to lead it. Even if they're not used to leading things, we'll put everything in place to give them the opportunity to run with that idea. And therefore, in that instance, we're giving somebody more the courage to fail, we're giving them the opportunity, and we're allowing them to develop themselves in a lead role on something. Doesn't matter what it is.
And we're empowering them.
Exactly. And we all benefit from having more empowered people working in our company for us, and ultimately for the app we're developing for our users.
It is kind of, a give and take. We give them the opportunities, we give them the courage, and we give them the development, and they give all of that back, because, it kind of is almost like a circle. It spins in a circle. We give something to them, and they're like, oh, actually, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, and I will deliver. And people don't get stuck in their own little boxes. Mm-hmm. And I'd one day wake up and think, wow, I'm really sick of doing this. I cannot do it anymore. Yep. It's because they know that I can go and pick up something else and, get involved with another project and see how they do that. And maybe they'll excel. And actually, we just discovered a person that we didn't know we even had on the team.
Yeah. And I think it really boils down to this in terms of our attitude to empowering individuals. It's about, and this is going to sound really corny again, but it's about caring about the individual person. You're not a number, or you're not an employee in a department. You're not someone who just carries out a certain role. You are a person, an individual in the company, with all that means and all that brings. And what we want is to acknowledge and celebrate that. It's like, thank you for even being here. Thank you for coming here to work with us. What else have you got? What else do you want? What else do you want from us in order to be able to get the things that you want as well? And again, as I said earlier on, if it means that somebody develops to the point where they move beyond what we're doing here and they leave, that's fine. But we've built up that relationship with them now. So in the future, we'll come back around, we'll meet again, like some of the people in department head roles. Chasyr right now, they used to be competitors once upon a time. We still joke and jive about how that person didn't hire this person, and they went on to beat them at that game. But the fact is, they kept that relationship going, and now here we are. So it's caring about people, because if we want to empower communities, first thing we've got to do is empower our own. And we'd be hypocritical if we didn't do that to start off with. So that's important, and also the fact that if we demonstrate and show that we care, then of course reciprocally, as individual members of the team, we care back.
They will care as well.
Yeah. So everybody wins in the end.
Yeah, and I think this is the empowering individuals. Obviously, it has been there from the start of Chasyr, and it's still very much there, and it will carry on being there. But personally, because I know that I have the opportunity to just kind of pick something else up and go to somebody else and be like, hey, I have this idea, or join another call and say, actually, guys, maybe think about it this way. Work isn't a burden.
So yeah, so the really important aspect about empowering individuals is to show that we actually care about people, and not just show it, but actually really do it. This is the problem we see a lot in big companies and corporations. They say the words, but they don't actually act it and do it. We want to make sure that we're really doing it. And as a result, if the people know that we care about them, who we work with, and who work for us, then equally they're going to care about the business. Because obviously, you reciprocally care about something that cares about you. Someone cares about you, you care about them. And
Yeah.
as a result, in that space where everyone's caring for everyone, so hippie, everyone's caring for everyone, ultimately it means that we're at our best, we're doing our best work, we're happiest, and we're going to produce a much better product. The app's going to be much better, everything we do in it. So the user's going to end up benefiting. So at the end, everybody
Yeah.
wins.
And it's, we growing and cultivating our little community within Chasyr, but also the culture statement is not just us as employees, but it's also there for the world and for essentially our users as well. So they know where we stand as a company and how we treat each other, but also what we want to give out to the world. And we want to not only create our own little beautiful community within here, but also, connect communities around the world, which is essentially what our app is about.
That's right. Yeah. So, the next part, the next piece that we moved into as we were developing this culture was the statement around connecting people with their communities. And that's
And
another absolutely key point.
We will be talking about it next week.
Great. I look forward to speaking with you then about that.
Thank you. See you later. Bye.
Okay. See you later.